my mind was made up that night when I made that blog post.
Kid Cudi has undoubtedly become one of the most influential artists to an entire generation of kids. Travis Scott stated that his first album wouldn't have been complete without the approval of Cudi. Pete Davidson said that Cudi saved his life. You could even make the argument that Cudi is responsible for much of the sonic landscape today because of his work on Kanye's 808s and Heartbreaks. And we can't forget about all of his legendary features. Cudi has had a long career filled with ups and downs, and his impact on the game will go down in history forever. But what many people don't know is that before he had a chance to accomplish so much of what he's done today, he was getting ready to retire from music altogether.
I had my little Spider-Man 2 Peter Parker moment and shit. You remember when Spider-Man didn't want to be Spider-Man no more? Because his personal life was so fucked up, but like he was like just killing shit as Spider-Man.
So I was doing research for another video and I came across this old XXL article from 2009 that mentioned how Cudi wanted to retire after the release of his first album, Man on the Moon. Here's why he wanted to quit the rap game. I'll read through what he said. The post was to his website and it was titled, "I'm sorry," in all caps. After the release of my first LP this summer, I am not making any more solo albums. I'm falling back on being an artist. The drama that comes with it is more overwhelming than the shit I was dealing with when I was piss poor broke. He went on to mention that even some of the people closest to him were saying that he changed. One of the only homies I got in this game, Wale, is worried about me because of shit he hears. Like, what the fuck? Who can say I'm being Hollywood? So I did some more digging and I found out that what Cudi was referring to was actually an interview that Wale did with Joe Budden long before Joe was doing pull-ups or had a podcast on Spotify. But in an episode of Joe's YouTube show, yes, that's right, he had a YouTube show, Wale said this.
What do you feel about Kid Cudi?
I like Cudi. I like Cudi.
He was on the cover.
I love Kid Cudi. That's my friend. I think that him working with Kanye is real good for both of them.
Yo, stop. Get your fucking tap dance shoes off. And stop dancing around the question.
I like Kid. You don't like Day and Night?
I'm asking you a question.
And I just answered it.
I said, how do you feel about Kid Cudi? You said, I think that him and Kanye working together works great. No. Do you like him or no?
I like Kid Cudi. This is my thing, though. I did that record for him before, like, this whole thing was big. Like, I just feel like it's a different Cudi now. You know what I'm saying?
This makes their relationship even more interesting. It's also hilarious to see how little Joe Budden has changed in terms of his interviewing style, because I feel like he would say that exact same line on his podcast or on Everyday Struggle or on a pull-up today.
Yo, stop. Get your fucking tap dance shoes off.
But anyways, Cudi continued saying, "I don't look at it as quitting, for I have already accomplished my goal. I can pay my mom's mortgage, and that's what I got in this game for, to accomplish all these goals, and I have. No regrets." And Cudi wasn't wrong about his accomplishments being legendary. I mean, to give you some perspective of where he was at, he had already worked with Kanye on an album, he had done a song with Jay-Z, he was revered by his peers and the legends in the game.
will.i.am supports me, Consequence supports me, 88 Keys supports me, Is a Killer supports me, Jay-Z supports me, Kanye of course supports me. All the that count support me. All these other sitting behind their computer screens, did you not hear the list of that says support me?
He was a XXL freshman, his mixtape was considered a classic, and his song Day and Night had become one of the biggest songs of the year. Those are things that most people dream about for their whole career, so I can understand why he felt like he had nothing left to prove. But at the end of the day, he's really just a human being with problems, highs and lows, and he deals with the same things that we do.
I be high, then I be low. I be low, then I be high.
Only everything for him was magnified times 100 being in the spotlight. I'm sorry to the fans, I'm so sorry y'all. I know you guys will all hate me, but remember, I'm just a regular dude who was given an amazing gift, and now with that amazing gift came more uncalled for problems than the average human being should have to deal with. I will still do the collab album with Chip the Ripper, and that will be my last studio recording. Interesting that we have still yet to hear that full collab album with King Chip, so I wonder if that's somewhere in the vault that maybe we'll hear one day. Cudi told fans that he was actually wanting to focus all of his attention on his HBO show at the time called How to Make It in America. The show lasted for 2 seasons, but it was loved by critics and had a pretty cult following. Pretty much like anything that Cudi does. Cudi closed off by apologizing to his fans again, saying, "Again, I'm sorry, but it's the only way to keep me from going completely insane. I'm too real for this High School Musical shit. Back to the moon I go." Another piece of information that I learned while looking this up was that his debut album, which ended up being, of course, Man on the Moon, The End of Day, was originally supposed to be called Man on the Moon, The Guardian. And if there's a lesson in this at all, it's that no matter how famous or successful you get, at the end of the day, you're still whoever you came into that fame with.
I was killing shit as Kid Cudi, but my personal life was still so fucked up.
You're still the person underneath the spotlight. You're still the person underneath the success. And it's kind of interesting to go back with perspective and hear how Cudi was legitimately thinking about closing off his career because of what he was struggling with. A lot of us out there who are dreaming of a career in something, we think once we get there, once we get A, once we get B, once we get to C, we'll never struggle, we'll never stress, we'll never worry about anything in our lives again. But as you see with Cudi, that's just not true. You get to that place and you're still left with who you are, and sometimes the things that you are become magnified because there's no running away from them. Everyone sees them. You have to talk about it in interviews. You have to talk about, Cudi's struggle with depression, with drugs. He's had to talk about these things in interviews. He's had to talk about these things in his music, and he really hasn't been able to run away from it. So Cudi, if you happen to be watching this by some crazy chance, just know that we love you as your fans. You changed my life personally, and we got you. Whatever you need, if you need to take time off of music ever, you know that we'll be right there with you when you decide to come back.
But I understand that I need y'all need me, so I can't stop.
Cudi dropped his debut album in September of the same year, and it went on to sell over 100,000 copies first week, charting at number 4, and in many rap fans' eyes, it became a classic album. Still one of my favorite projects of all time, and includes one of my top 5 favorite songs of all time with the title track, Man on the Moon.
You don't love me, man. You don't love me. So yeah, no more retirement. I'm here to stay though.
But that's it for this video. This was my first one of these deep dives, but I really appreciate you guys for watching. Please share this with a big Kid Cudi fan you know. Subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers at the time of this recording. You can follow me on Instagram at Jeremy_Heck. Link will be below. And let me know in the comments what other topics you want me to cover for these. It doesn't have to be about music. It can be about anything. I'm interested in aliens, space, psychology, philosophy, people. So yeah, let me know. Thank you guys for watching. If nobody's told you yet today, I love you, dream good, live better, and I hope you have one heck of a day.
Hope I really get to see 30. Wanna settle down, stop being so flirty. Most of the clean faces be the most dirty.